The Oilers and Panthers were all tied up at 2 games apiece in the Stanley Cup Final. Did the Panthers blow their chance to put this one away? And is Leon Draisaitl's contract the best contract in professional sports? All on today's 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. Let's get into her.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlinsky as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering room. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans. So sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get in. All right, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more, up and running on this Saturday morning of June the 14th, 2025. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP over there at SeatGeek and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we are part of that Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all of their great sports articles and great podcasts, such as Ryan and Dustin over there at No Credentials Required. Two of the hardest working men in show business, way it goes, and a bunch of other great podcasts over there at Belly Up. Thank you for all those who listen on a daily basis and put up with my tardiness at times of getting these shows out. I've been pretty busy with the Leopards Bulls Baseball Club getting things going, but we're here to talk a little bit of playoff hockey. That game on, I wasn't looking forward to that game on, Thursday night, considering the beating the Oilers took in Game 3, 6-1, just an absolute demolition that the Panthers put on the Oilers. I didn't have a whole bunch of faith with the Oilers going into that game. It just had a bad juju, bad vibe, and I wasn't wrong considering the first period that the Oilers had down 3-0. Florida scored early and often and just had the pressure on. It looked like it was going to be Florida go up 3-1, go back to Edmonton, win a Stanley Cup in 5 games, but as you guys probably noticed, if you listen to this, you're probably a sports fan. The Edmonton Oilers came storming back and ended up winning that game in overtime. It's been a great series, classic series. 3 of the 4 games have gone to overtime, which is unheard of. Late goals to tie it up at Corey Perry last Friday night with 17 seconds left. And then, who was the other night? He scored Reinhart scored with 19 seconds left. And you're just thinking, what the heck's going on? And when Reinhart scored that goal, you think, there's no way the Oilers are going to come up and win this hockey game. Just the way hockey goes, momentum is such a huge thing. But Leon Draisaitl scored on what was a bit of a lucky one. Don't know how it went in when you first watched it live, but it went in. They ask how many, and Leon Draisaitl is etching himself into playoff lore as one of the best performers. He's still got to win one, but one of the best performers of all time. It's been a great series. I don't know where it's going to end up, but the thing about that I was watching about that game the other night when it was all said and done, the Oilers had they were smiling, and Draisaitl wasn't really sure what his reaction was. And McDavid, you watch him on the bench, it was more of a sigh of relief that he gave out. They came back and won that thing. And don't be surprised when this playoff is over that you're going to find out that McDavid's hurt a little bit. He's still flying around there like nothing, but he's not really shooting the puck very well. He's not getting a lot accomplished. I don't want to say he was non-existent, but in McDavid terms, he was non-existent in that Game 4 victory over the Florida Panthers. And so I bet you when this is all said and done, you're going to hear, they're all playing with a bit of a bumps and bruises and everything else. They all got some ailments, I'm sure, as we're on the 14th. The NHL season's too long. They could cut this thing out. That 3 and 4 days in between. And the Game 7, if it happens, is next Friday night. So that's another how many days away? 6 days away to get 3 games played. That's way too long. The NHL season's way too long. We beat this beat this one into the ground. That it takes too long. People aren't interested in playing a game. At least they're not doing it in the middle of the afternoon like they did a couple of weeks back. But anyways, it was one of those situations where you were watching that game and then how Florida ended up going ahead, and you thought that they were going to win themselves a Stanley Cup pretty easily, and to blow that game the way they did, because they absolutely destroyed the Oilers in that first period with Taylor Swift in the building. The Swift curse came back to the Panthers, but it was something else to watch. And they pulled Stuart Skinner, mercy pull, to say the least, probably one of the bigger mercy pulls I've ever seen, because Skinner was really good in that first period. It could have been 5-6-0 very easily for the Florida Panthers. But get back to that second period. Panthers are up 3-0. They're coasting. Calvin Pickard, who hasn't lost the playoffs yet for the Edmonton Oilers, he goes in. He made some really good saves early and gave the Oilers a chance to get a goal. Darnell Nurse, he scored a beauty shorthanded goal. Probably shouldn't have won, but Bobrovsky, you don't want to get a shorthanded or short-sided goal scored on you. But Nurse, he got himself out of the bad books of Oilers fans early in that second period with the goal, because he probably should have had his equipment off and been told to go sit in the stands. He was so bad in that first period and took a really dumb penalty. And let's get to the refereeing. Now that I said talk about penalties here, I am full agreement. I think there's been some missed calls or just non-calls, I guess, that have happened on both sides, more so on the Panthers thing. Obviously, I'm cheering for the Oilers in this series, but I think there's been some non-calls, and it happens and everything else. But I also think that the Oilers have been taking a lot of penalties, especially when their penalty kill hasn't been very good. They have to kind of mind their P's and Q's and keep their sticks down a lot more than they have been. I think the penalties that the Oilers got, I think they were all penalties on that game on Thursday night. And you can't blame the referees, except the one thing about the referees that's bothering me. I'm kind of all over the map here, maybe a little too much caffeine today already, but it's I don't like the way NHL officials call so much stuff early in the game to quote unquote set the tone, and then later on in the game they say they don't want to be the one who changed the course of a game or changed the outcome of a game. But by saying that, they're actually doing that because people know they can get away with murder in the third period. A penalty is a penalty is a penalty. I know you don't want to be the reason and everything else, but an officiant, if a referee costs you a game, you're probably going to lose the game anyways. We've been through this one, two guys in sports news, and Jim, the fan of the van, he says it all the time too. The officials don't normally cost you a game, but in hockey, how they just decide to call certain things and don't call certain things, and it was really prevalent in these playoffs, especially in the finals. I think the referee's been very good. Has there been some calls? Yeah. Has there been some calls both ways? Yeah. But I do think that the Oilers have been kicking themselves in their own junk a little bit by taking a lot of undisciplined penalties and at bad times. And when you're not killing penalties very well, you got to play with eggshells in your back pocket or eggs in your back pocket, because it's gonna go bad for you quick. And they stay out of the box the last two periods, and lo and behold, look what happened. Right. So it just Evander Kane's got to learn to not check with his stick, and Evander Kane's got to learn to keep his stick down. And so does Darnell Nurse and the rest of the guys, because Florida plays heavy and Florida plays hard and Florida plays fast. They have the Kachucks and the Reinhardts and the Bennetts of the world who were just steamrolling through. And then once Edmonton played a little bit more disciplined, then it ended up being okay on their end. But I thought it was a very entertaining hockey game. But I never had the warm and fuzzies at all throughout that game, just because I thought Florida, okay, 3-0 lead, and they always say a 3-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey, which is stupid, but it turned out that it was the other night. I just think that Florida really, for lack of a better term, they pissed away a chance to lock themselves up a Stanley Cup. If they go up 3-1, this one's over. But now you're going back to Edmonton tonight, 2-2. That crowd's going to be absolutely bananas once again, and Edmonton's giving themselves a chance to win this thing. And Leon Draisaitl is probably the number one reason why they're getting it. And Calvin Pickard. Who would have thought Calvin? Deanne calls him Picard, like Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek. She can't not say Picard. It's quite funny. But you see how this Oilers team is kind of just rallying around what Draisaitl is doing. And Draisaitl is slowly becoming the best wingman, the best second fiddle guy in NHL history. I was listening to Overdrive yesterday. I think it was really an interesting conversation they had, so I'll kind of mimic that. But you look at Crosby and Malkin, Lemieux, Jagger, then you want to go even deeper into Sakic and Forsberg. You can argue that all those guys had better seasons than the superstar at one point, right? And you go to Yzerman and Fedorov and the like, and on it goes with all those guys. Gretzky and Messier. You want to go even further back. That all the big stars were Gretzky, Lemieux, Sakic, Yzerman, And all the other guys had better seasons and had bigger moments almost. Yes, Gretzky had some big moments. Yes, Mario had big moments, but so did Jagger, so did Forsberg. So is Draisaitl on that level? He has to go and win a Stanley Cup first, but Draisaitl is kind of that kind of a guy. And I just kind of thought of this. The funny thing about all those comparisons, the Canadian guy was always the superstar at the forefront. They speak much better English now than they used to. Other than the Messier Gretzky thing, the European guy was always the guy in the background a little bit who could just go play hockey. You look at a guy like Evgeny Malkin. He didn't have to talk very much, or if ever. He still pretends he can't speak English. You look at Jagger, he could go in anonymity back then because Lemieux was always good for a quote, would always talk to the media, and Jagger didn't have to. Draisaitl, his English is obviously very, very, very good. He speaks fluent English. I'm not being that guy at all, but he gets a little bit surly with the media, and McDavid doesn't. So people don't need to talk to Draisaitl as much. He can just go out and play hockey and have a great time doing it. He's been so effective in these playoffs, and he was a force to be reckoned with the other night, and he's just been doing it, like I said earlier, because I do think that that McDavid is fighting something a little bit. It's just that game the other night, I just never had the warm and fuzzies when they went ahead late in the third or mid third there, and I kind of gave a yip and a yelp, and I was like, holy smokes, I got some emotion here. And then when Florida tied it up with 19 seconds left with Reinhardt's goal there, and that was a sloppy goal that the defensive zone coverage. I know we like talking that crap here on the 1420 Sports Bar podcast about defensive zone coverage, but the way that the Oilers played that last 30 seconds, they deserved to end up going with that, end up getting that tied up and almost losing that hockey game. And another aside here. What's with pulling the goalie with 2 and 3 and 3.5 minutes left? Are you that stupid and that arrogant where you think you're not going to give up a shot for 3.5 minutes? Not even with deep offensive zone possession, pulling the goalie and having nothing. Do you think you're not going to give us a shot up for 3 to 3.5 minutes? It's absolutely insane, and it's happening more and more throughout this playoffs. And now that we're getting into the last 3 games of the season, you just go like, "What the heck?" You think if you're down by 1, pulling the goalie, it worked for Florida the other night, but it could have goes because Edmonton actually missed 2 open nets. So it would have been over a lot earlier, but you look back, it doesn't much matter. But just the way that they're doing it and the way they're holding off on and they're pulling guys, it just doesn't make any sense at all, because it's hard to go with a 5-on-5 or a 5-on-4 even, like in a power play situation in a National Hockey League game, for not having a shorthanded shot on net, let alone an empty net goal from Never Neverland. I don't like it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous the way that the narrative has changed on that. But the Oilers, they got themselves a chance. And if you do the old, if you give yourself 3 games to win the Stanley Cup, you got to win 2 or 3, and you're the last 2 standing, you take it, right? In training camp, you take it every day. There isn't one team that would say, you know what, I'd rather have this thing done, because they have a chance to get this done. I predicted Oilers in 6 back in the Belly Up playoff or Stanley Cup Super Show there. I predicted Oilers in 6. I'm going to stand by that. I just think that there's maybe it's their time, and if not now, then when? Because contracts are getting greasier and contracts are getting harder, and I know the salary cap's going up, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But it's if not now, then when? Florida's played a lot of hockey, and their guys played a lot of hockey over the years. Bobrovsky, he was great. You think how good he was. I know I'm a goalie hugger, but he gave up 5, and think how good he was. If he was average that night, he would have given up 9 goals. That's how good he was. That's how much Edmonton changed the narrative of that hockey game in the last 2 periods. It was unbelievable how good he was. And then how just this series has just been up and down and all around. And you hope that tonight, as we record this show, that you hope that tonight's just the same kind of thing. I hope it doesn't, the Oilers don't fall behind 3-0 early again. But if the Oilers can get something cooking early and get themselves a goal early and get that crowd behind them and just fire away, you just never know what could happen. They just got to be better. I think we have actually now seen the last of Stuart Skinner, and not any fault of his own in these playoffs. Yeah, he wasn't very good in game 3, but he was really good in game 4 and still got pulled. I think we've seen the last of Skinner. I think Pickard's or Pickard. See, I did it, Jean-Luc Picard. I think Pickard, they have to run with him no matter what from here on in. I don't think there's any chance they're going to go to Skinner. Pickard plays the puck a little bit better. Pickard is better side to side, and just the way the game is being played and just the confidence that they have. Guy's 7-0. He's 7-0 in these playoffs. If they win 2 more, Is he the MVP? Is he the Conn Smythe Trophy winner? Maybe. Go 9-0 in the playoffs. You just never know. I mean, it's not a big body of work, but without him, they're not there. And that's just fact. Like without Draisaitl, they're not there. With the McDavid, without blah, blah, blah. But without Pickard bailing them out back in that Kings series, they aren't here. So if the MVP is the MVP, right, most valuable player of the playoffs, without Pickard, they aren't where they're at. And it's that simple. I like goalies usually find a way to win this thing. And if he can end up winning three games in the finals, plus, you have to think that he's the guy. Yeah, he doesn't play all the time, but maybe he's the guy that wins himself a Conn Smythe Trophy. It'll probably go to, if the Oilers can pull this off, it'll probably go to Draisaitl. If the Panthers pull it off, I'd say Marchand's that guy, but there's still a lot of hockey to be played. There's still 3 more games to be played in this Stanley Cup Final. It's been one for the ages, one of the better ones in recent memory, for sure. I just it's going to be fun. Does Marchand keep going? Does he keep flying? I don't know. The Oilers just can't come up with a stinker in that first period. That's the biggest thing, because if you start falling behind, give these guys an opportunity to beat you, they will. And that's the biggest thing. Don't give them a chance and stay out of the freaking box. I almost swore. It was on the tip of my tongue. I almost said the magical word that gets people banned from certain things. But they got to stay out of the freaking box, because they aren't killing penalties worth a darn. And I would because they've been so bad at it. I would because maybe just leave your best player on the bench. Maybe not have McDavid kill penalties. Give him some more time for more energy offensively. Just struggle through it and not have him out there. Like I said, there's something wrong there, and I just I don't know why they would keep throwing him out there as much as they do, because it's not working for the Oilers in that realm of things. And it's been a fun playoff, and it was like and that's what sports does. I mean, I get a little poetic here, but the way sports works and the way that worked out the other night, you didn't, like I said, I wasn't too hyped up going for, like, the game started and I was sitting at home and watching the game. We were going to go somewhere. I was like, I don't feel like it. This doesn't feel to be a great atmosphere. And then sure shit, the Panthers go up 3-0. You're like, I'm glad I didn't go anywhere. Like, probably saved myself a couple of bucks and everything else, and weren't amongst people swearing and being mad and cussing. And then you find out, then the Oilers come back and tie it up in that third period. That Boston Pizza probably would have went to watch the game. There was absolute mayhem in there, guaranteed. People jumping up and down, having a good time, and so it would have been a lot of fun to be part of that. And especially if the Oilers would have won, or they did win in overtime, the place would have went crazy. There would have been high fives, bum slaps, hugs and kisses and everything else. So shaking hands, or shaking babies and kissing hands, shaking hands and kissing babies. I know, don't at me with all that, but it was a fun atmosphere. It was a lot of fun to watch. I hope the Oilers can finish this thing off and get it done, like I said, in 6. But Florida's a dangerous team. They're a very dangerous team, and that you can't go in slow. And if the Oilers can stay out of the box, I think they got this one. I really do. Anyways, that's the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. First segment there, brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP over there at SeatGeek and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Here's a word from the second segment partner, Righteous Felon Jerky. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon Jerky. Thanks to Righteous Felon Jerky, the official supplier of beef jerky to Belly Up Media Network. Go to righteousfelon.com and save yourself $20 on, or save yourself 15%. Sorry, 15% on your purchase over there at Righteous Felon Jerky. You have to get some picked up for me down in the States, but we can't get it up here in Canada, which is really weird. Really, really weird. Supposed to be promoting Canadian things, tariffs, but we won't talk about tariffs and Trump's really little parade today. What a nozzle. I just can't. I just can't with that guy. I just really, really can't. But we don't have polling stations in the 1420 Sports Bar, so we won't talk about that anymore. Anyways, it was revealed this week, and it talks some Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. Actually, let's talk some baseball for 35 seconds. How good is Aaron Judge? Like, it is unbelievable what that guy's doing. 26 home runs, X amount of RBIs, hitting 390 still. It's like he's the, dare I say it, and then maybe we'll do it one of these tomorrow morning, talk some Yankees baseball, but he's the greatest Yankees hitter of all time. Not the best. He's the greatest Yankee hitter of all time, and maybe the best. And like, you know how I differentiate the best and the greatest, but he, man, oh man, it's unbelievable. We'll talk some Yankees baseball tomorrow morning here in the 1420 Sports Bar. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. Tough loss last night in extras. Tough loss. But anyways, it was revealed earlier on this week that the worst kept secret in hockey, that Mitch Marner is more than likely gone. There's rumors out there that he's going to be signing with the Carolina Panthers for $14 million at 7 years, $98 million, blah, blah, blah. So he'll be the highest paid AAV guy in the National Hockey League, and he'll surpass the Draisaitl record, which is going to be surpassed by McDavid when McDavid's deal is up at the end of next season. They'll probably sign something in the offseason this year, I think, depending if they win or not. But you think because Draisaitl and him are good pals, he's going to stick around in Edmonton for the remainder of his career, unless later on. But I think his next contract will be signed with the Oilers. But Mitchie Marner is going to get himself a payday that is good on him. Good on him. Someone's dumb enough to pay him, so you're going to take it. You're not going to say no. Is Marner worth $14 million? Well, you can go to the old. Is anybody worth $14 million? Well, if someone's willing to pay you, then you'll take it. It's good on him. He's going to get paid. He's going to have his money. But I find it hard to believe that these owners still keep biting themselves. They keep eating themselves alive. We talked about this a long time ago on the 1420 Sports Bar podcast about quarterbacks in NFL getting paid X amount of dollars and X amount of this and X amount of that. And I can't remember who the guy was. Basically was going to get more than, or anybody was going to be asking Josh Allen, I think it was. And there was the guy in LA, and then there's the guy, good the heck's his name? It's not football season, so I don't care. I barely care during football season. The guy in Cincinnati making more than Patrick Mahomes. You're like, I don't get that at all. Because if I was an owner or a GM or something, and some agent came into my office and said, you're going to pay this guy more than Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to say, no, I'm not. I'm not. He's him. That's your guy. I know it's market value. I know that's how it works. I know how free agency works. I get it. I understand how the finances of the whole thing works, but the best player is still the best player. And Mitchie Marner's not even close to being one of the top 5, let alone top 10, let alone top 20 guys in the National Hockey League. Really good player, really nice player. He's hitting free agency right at the right time. He's hitting a free agency right when there isn't a lot of guys, so he's going to get overpaid. That's just how it is. That's because owners generally are stupid. GMs are generally stupid. They overvalue guys just because somebody else will. We don't, and someone else will. Well, you know what? 30 teams and 31 teams or 30 teams aren't playing for Stanley Cup championship right now. There's 2 teams playing right now, and Mitchie Marner's not one of them. The Toronto Maple Leafs aren't one of them. And so that would be enough for me as an owner to be saying, I'm not giving this guy $14 million. He's underperforming the playoffs every year. Leon Draisaitl is by far head and shoulders 4 times the hockey player that Mitchie Marner is. Draisaitl's getting 14. If I'm an owner, I'd be like, he ain't as good as that guy. He's not taking a percentage wise of what that guy gets. He's just not. I'm not going to sacrifice my future and sacrifice picking guys up here and there for one guy who's basically unproven in the playoffs. I'm just not doing it. Is it their right to do it? It's their money. Do whatever you want. Is it Marner's agent's right to know what the salary cap's going to be? Yep. It's his right. Is it Marner's right to say, yeah, I'm leaving Toronto? Yeah, for different passions, because it won't be greener. How many teams, people laugh, but how many teams are better than Toronto Maple Leafs right now? Are they going to be worse without Marner? Probably. But where's Marner going to go with that to even have a sniff like they had with this year with the Leafs? He's not going to go into a better situation. Like Vancouver, Carolina went to the third round. They got smoked. Absolutely demolished. No, it wasn't close. The Leafs are a better team than Carolina. So, is he just getting paid? Yeah. And that's his right. That is his right. But he's slowly worming his way into being one of the most hated guys in Toronto sports history the second he signed somewhere else, because he took what he could. He hampered the team's leverage to go get other free agents. There was reason why they lose all the time. When Marner leaves, they'll be selling his jerseys at a discount price if they aren't already. People be burning them, throwing away, hanging it in the back of the closet, never be seen again. For a guy that's in the top whatever of points per game, points all time, assists all time, at least history to be that hated already. I get why he's leaving, but if he stayed, they'd forget about. Okay, good, we need him. That's what that's what Leafs fans say. Yeah, he's better. Better than most. We're a better team with him than without him. But for him to be asking for 14 and people are offering, he might even get higher than that. If I'm a GM, I'm saying you're absolutely out of your freaking head if you think I'm paying that kid who looks like a kid, barely has sweat on his head after a game, zero playoff success. If you think I'm paying him more than Leon Draisaitl and $1 million less than Connor McDavid, you're out of your head. I would fire my GM right now. Say, get out. You're obviously too stupid for this job. That's what I would say. You're too stupid to run this organization. I'm going to hire some grade 10 economics major, or student, I guess wouldn't be a major, some grade 10 economics kid. Say, hey, I can run my hockey team. No, you don't got to win. We make money no matter what. But if that idiot there wants to sign Mitch Marner to a $14 million contract, for what? Minimal playoff success? Carolina's good. Great regular season all the time. But what are they doing getting a guy who's been terrible in the playoffs? So they go and sign a guy too? Oh, that's going to put you over the hump. No, it won't. You're still not better than Florida, who's proving it again. And Florida's going to just reload. Marchand's going to stay there, guaranteed. Why wouldn't you stay in Florida? Less taxes, the whole bit. He's staying there. Bennett will stay for $8 million, which is about $11 million market value with the taxes. These guys deserve to get whatever they get. If somebody says here's $14 million, you take it. But the owners who are the ones who can say no. Does he put you over the hump? Not a chance. Mitch Marner's not the guy to put you over the hump to win a Stanley Cup. And I read today, and you heard it here first 3 weeks ago, that Austin Matthews wants out. I read it today that don't be surprised that Austin Matthews is leaving the Leafs. And you heard it here first. So whoever leaked that out there, I should have read the article and had it here for you guys to listen to until you can look who it was. Maybe I'll hunt it out and do one for Belly Up, and I'll kind of not plagiarize, obviously, but I'll do one for Belly Up later on. That, yeah, he's gone too. He don't need the pressure. He doesn't want to be there, knowing they aren't going to win. They're a worse team than they were this time last year. They're going back to the well again, but without Marner, who's going to sign a big ticket. He's not better than McKinnon. He's not better than McCarr. He's not better than Draisaitl. He's not better than McDavid. So we're only hit the top 5, right? He's just not. And he's not even in the next echelon either. He's not better than Hellebuck. Like, I know Hellebuck's a goalie, but you like in the ranking of players and what guys get paid, he's just not. Like he's just not that. He's a really good player, but there's so many guys. Quinn Hughes is better. And he's going to get paid because some stupid owner is going to say, yeah, well, I guess we need him. If we don't, someone else will. It's ridiculous how owners think that way. These guys have millions and millions of dollars. They basically just puke on themselves and take whatever money they can get or player they can get with the hopes, vague hopes of winning something. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that he's going to get that kind of a payday with no resume to back things up. Lots of regular season points, but what's that get you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You got to win. And I think winning usurps everything. Like winning adds zeros to your bank account and commas to your paycheck. Winning does. The rest of it, I don't know. You can pad your stats all season long. It's a long season where you go into San Jose on a Tuesday night in January and put up 4 points. Nobody cares. When your team's not playing right now, that's when people care, and that's when people notice. And these guys who get overpaid, and it's not their fault. Someone signed the check. Someone's depositing their account. They're going to take it. Every person alive is going to take those paychecks. Every single person. But for any owner or GM to even field a call from some of these guys saying, well, that's market value. No, it's not. That's market value. That guy over there is better than that guy there. Pretty simple. It's that easy for me. I don't care if you land in free agency and the free agency class isn't big. Owners can say no. GMs can say no. Put these guys in their place. Say, no, man, I'm not doing it. anyways, that's the enjoy the game tonight. For those who listen today or listening tomorrow, I might be completely wrong when you guys listen to this or see it up on YouTube, and this will be up on the YouTube Belly Up YouTube channel a little bit later. So make sure you check that out and subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're at it. But I hope I'm right. I hope the Oilers can pull this one off. I really think that they will. Yeah, lots going on. So I'll do one of these tomorrow morning. We'll talk about some Yankees baseball. I haven't had a chance to watch a ton this year with the Bulls baseball season going on, and but it's been. I'm still invested. I still read the box scores. Yes, I read the box scores. I'm old. Jim, fan of the van. Good to see you're still kicking around there. Listening to shows all the time every morning when you put one out there when I'm driving to work, walking around Spitz. I had a little situation I might talk to you guys about tomorrow morning. It was a bit harrowing, to say the least. Actually, I'll bring it up today. Monday morning, went to Spitz Stadium after a long night. Went to Oyen with the team on Sunday afternoon. So I got back pretty late Sunday night, about 11 o'clock. Went to the stadium on Monday morning, do my usual rounds, and it's unfortunate, but there was a homeless guy rummaging through and he stole some stuff from the stadium. He had a cart that we used to transport food from concession from storage and beer and stuff. Anyways, so he had that outside and he was stealing empties to go recycle, get some cash. And I confronted him and he said some things, I said some things, and basically I told him he's got to leave because his participation was no longer needed there. But I went to pick up the cans that he had gathered three of the big recycling bags, and I looked over my shoulder, and this cat had a big old 6-inch long, 2-inch wide hunting knife, and he wasn't going to cut up birthday cake. That was very prevalent with the look in his eyes, and it didn't bother me a whole bunch at first because my adrenaline obviously I took off. I ran as fast as a 50-year-old guy who hasn't really ran a whole bunch over the last how many years, as fast as I could. And this guy took off, and I called 911. The cops showed up and everything. But once the adrenaline wore off, I'm not going to lie, it shook my brain a little bit. I was a bit shocked at how the whole thing came about. Now, some guy was, and it's the society, it's how it is, and it's not my fault. It's not his fault. It's just the way things happen. I mean, it's unfortunate that there's people who will kill people for $120 worth of cans, right? And that was a very harrowing and it was tough. It shook me up a little bit for sure. And then I think the Bulls had a home game on Tuesday, I think it was, or Wednesday. I can't remember what day it was, but it was tough being around there. Yeah, I'm better now. Like, it was a little bit of PTSD, but it was scary that the guy was going to, if I was 2 feet close, the guy could have stabbed me, and who knows how long I would have been staying down on the ground. But it was definitely scary. It was a lesson learned. If somebody wants to take $120 worth of stuff, let them take it. Just take it, right? So it was scary. But anyways, that's my story for the week at Spitz Stadium. Yeah, it's just someone's going to steal from you. Let them take it, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's going through their mind. But anyways, take care of yourself. More importantly, take care of yourselves. Need your own. Keep your stick on the ice. Don't swing at high pitches. And remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. That's the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more. Brought to you by SeatGeek and Righteous Felon. Go to Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. You subscribe there so you can watch this a little bit later on. If you're on the podcast version, wherever you get your podcast, like, share, retweet, and Facebook and Twitter and all the stuff. And make sure you follow along to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer sports talking a lot more. Have a great day, folks. Enjoy your Saturday or whatever day you're watching or listening to this. And keep your stick on the ice, don't swing at high pitches, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great day, and go Yankees, go Oilers, go Bulls. Cheers. Thanks for tuning in to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. Brought to you by SeatGeek. Go to bellyupsports.com for the best of sports articles and podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. Let's get in.